Okay, here we go. And hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Step Up Your Game podcast, where we bring you conversations with experts who help people build wealth, navigate real estate, and make smart financial moves. Today's episode is especially meaningful because we're talking about military families relocating to East Tennessee. So please join me today here in Knoxville as we welcome Knoxville realtor Iesha Padilla with eXp Realty, and she is a military spouse and a certified relocation specialist who helps military families and first-time homebuyers make the transition to Knoxville area. If you're an active duty, a veteran, or even anyone else considering relocating to East Tennessee, this episode is packed with insight you don't want to miss. So welcome, Iesha. And
Hello, thanks for having me.
you are very welcome. So why don't we start by telling everybody about your journey into real estate, what led you to focus on helping military families and everybody else for that matter.
So I didn't just start off as a military spouse. I was a military brat as well. So I was a military brat. I moved around. We moved around a lot. And I just felt like I wish I had somebody like me to come alongside them as they're doing this journey, right? So
Absolutely.
once I did get to become a spouse and I married into the military, that was very eye-opening. It was very eye-opening. I saw other people experiencing the same struggles that I was, whether they were getting into the military, and they didn't know what to do. So I was a brand new Air Force spouse, and I ended up joining the Air Force Spouses Committee on the board. And when they asked me, I said, "Well, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm new to, you know what I mean?" But I knew how to make people feel welcome. I knew how to make people feel like they belonged. So that was one of the things that I led with. Um, Married into the military, moved around a lot, developed a community around myself. But then that's how I started to think about real estate. Like, wow, all these people are moving from all of these different places. Where are they really calling home? You know, and that was important to me because I'm from Los Angeles, California, right? And I trekked all the way. Now I'm here in Tennessee, right? And all in between. And so I just aimed to make it a reality. I didn't know what that meant. I didn't know what that meant as far as, hey, I didn't even know what a real estate agent really was at that time. But I did know that I wanted to make people feel like home was where they made it. So, yeah.
I love that. And you said something that's very poignant. I think people are most memorable when it's all about how you make somebody feel, and,
Yeah.
I love that you said that. Because, life today is just not easy, right? So, as a military spouse, what are some of the biggest challenges military families face when they receive PCS orders and need to move quickly? And have you been in that spot yourself?
Yeah. So when you get orders, they don't say, "Oh, you get some orders." More than likely, they're not going to say, "You get some orders for a year from now." They say, "You get some orders and maybe at the most a couple months from now or a couple weeks." And now you're thinking, "Hey, I just bought a house here. How am I going to uproot my kids and my pets and all of that stuff? Make that move, sell this house, get into something else where I'm going." So that is a huge challenge because you really don't have the time that a lot of other people have. So I think it's always was always important for me to like stay on my toes while I was in the military because it was ever changing. And again, the military time is military time. It's not your time. You don't get to really decide, especially when you're a spouse and you're actually going along with your spouse. Another one was, like I said, coordinating the selling of the home and moving across country, buying sight unseen. That is scary. That is scary. You know what I mean? So those I think are some of the challenges we face when we're PCSing out somewhere. We don't know who to contact. We don't know who we should be talking to. We don't know when we should be starting the conversation.
Okay. And well, I mean, today, sight unseen, I mean, iPhone camera, FaceTime. I actually know a lot of people today after, COVID, that has moved to East Tennessee, just by a realtor walking around the property, and they're like, okay, we want to make an offer. Does it smell okay? With your own
Oh
video.
gosh, yeah, because you don't have the smell-o-vision
yeah.
like on Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. We don't have it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I am boots on the ground. I'm boots on the ground. And for those out-of-state clients that are not here, which is a majority of what I deal with is out-of-state clients and veterans. Excuse me. I am boots on the ground. I am video recording and videotaping. I mean, if there's an odor, I'm going to say there's an odor. If I see, some sort of structural something, I am not going to operate outside my scope of licensing because I'm not an inspector, but I will share the truth and the real and just challenge them on what they think they might want.
That's
I think that's important.
And what's your opinion as to like why so many people are like, we have such an influx of out-of-state folks right now into East Tennessee? Well, all of Tennessee, actually.
Because Tennessee is the best. Tennessee, I have to say, my husband and I have been trying to get to Tennessee for quite a number of years, right? So, my husband's previous employment, there was no lateral movement to get over here. So we ended up doing a career change and all that stuff. And we got here. So being from Southern California, you got the ocean. That's your topography. That's your vibe, right? And then we had chance, and we had time in the desert. We've lived in the desert where it's beautiful. It's an eerie beauty about the desert. And we loved it, right? But we're like, dude, we just want to be with trees. We want to be able to open our camper door because I'm a glamper. I do not camp. There's no sleeping bags after the kids. I don't do that. Yeah. But you open your camper door and you're like, oh my gosh, I'm in a whole new world. There's rivers, there's lakes. People are super friendly here. Southern hospitality is not lost on this place. And it is, although it's growing because it's more affordable to live here, no state income tax, all of that stuff, it still feels like a small hometown community still.
Yeah.
That's why people move here.
And I've been here for 10 years this past December, and just the property tax. Yes. I mean, I'm really a farm girl at heart, growing up in Ohio, but came to Tennessee via upstate New York. And I'm like, my mortgage payment in escrow is less than just my property tax monthly, Yeah. So I think that's why we're, it is a great place to live. So Iesha, if a military family receives their PCS orders today, what are the first 3 things they should do when preparing to buy a home?
I would say the first thing to do, and I mentioned this before, is start the conversation. Start the conversation. Get your team ready early. And what I mean by that is talk to a VA lender, communicate with them well. You want to have your people lined up. And so if you get a hold of a relocation specialist like me, we put you together with all of those teammates for you to make that decision. So you're in constant communication. All of us are in constant communication with each other. So you don't feel lost at all. You feel like you have somebody behind you, a team of people behind you. And I say those are the 3 things, like get yourself in touch with a relocation specialist, talk to a VA lender, find out what you really qualify for, what all of the benefits are that you are qualified for. And like I said, then the next one is just like start the conversation. Start that conversation early. Sometimes things take a little bit longer. So if you start that conversation early, you just know those benchmark areas.
Yeah. And I like it, like, even if you can get somebody that is local to the new area and not just like a big box lender. Unfortunately, because I am a mortgage professional starting my 24th year in about 3 weeks, which is crazy to me. You see a lot of craziness out there. So I love how you have a whole team of dedicated professionals to really provide, such great service to, that veteran getting ready for, and I know that they're, big moves.
Right.
What mistakes do you often see first-time buyers or someone who's receiving their, maybe this is their first move with PCS orders? realtors, trying to relocate. If you had to come up with some mistakes and try and eliminate those, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I say that a lot of the times people they don't get pre-approved, right? So that's really important to get pre-approved. Find out what your real numbers are. You don't want to guesstimate in a situation like this, especially when you're on the go, go, go. So I would say you want to get pre-approved. If you have boots on the ground like me, you want to have somebody to tell you about the area. If you're planning on moving in a certain location, you want to know the commute time to the communities that you're interested in. That is important too. A lot of times people don't know that. They're just like, oh, I just want to be by the mountains. But you may not work by the mountains. And you know what I mean? So that's very important too. Again, focusing on the house instead of the location has been a big mistake. And that goes right back to, hey, I want to just live by the mountains. I want to live in this cute little cottage. I'm like, okay, but you don't work at Dollywood, right? You do not work at Dollywood. So you're not going to get to work on time.
And that's a heck of a commute if you're coming to Knoxville from Dollywood on a daily basis.
On a daily basis. And so I always tell them that, like, don't fall so much in love with the house that you jeopardize commute. You're commuting now more than half of your day when you get off work. It's dark when you leave. It's dark when you come home. You're not able to enjoy your community or your home. So that's another mistake. And not understanding, again, the VA process. Not understanding the VA process it just frustrates you. It makes your experience just not a good one. You don't enjoy it, and you're already stressed. You don't want to add that to it. So those are some of the mistakes I see people making, and waiting until the last minute.
No.
Don't do that.
Or a team that just falls off the face of the earth. I mean, I can't believe how many times I've seen that. Like, what? Crazy.
The disconnect.
Yeah. Because these people are pretty much buying sight unseen. And I know we've already touched on it, but for everybody listening out there, how do you help clients feel comfortable, trying to do all this remote? If you could just reiterate basically everything you've already said. Pretty much. Because you are the boots on the ground and everything that you do. So I think that question's kind of a little redundant, because who wouldn't want to work with you? You've been there, you've experienced, you want to make them feel, that this is a great move. And I love how you said location. I'm a person, I've got to be 30 minutes to the airport. No minute more, no minute, no. As this traffic does get worse and worse. And, even just understanding and telling people, hey, if you're heading 40 west and it's 5 o'clock, you got the sun in your eyes and you got 3-4 lanes of traffic and you are just crawling because the sun stop, if you will.
And careful too, if you're taking these back roads places and that sun is in your eyes, these are not straight roads. These are, all the beautiful roads, but you just want to be careful on them.
And so if there's 2 trucks, there's no guardrail. Do you really fit? Welcome to Tennessee.
You got to think about that. You got to think about it. Well, my husband and I, we ride motorcycles. So we are in and out of these roads. And this is why Tennessee was an option for us as well. That's why it was huge on our list, because we ride motorcycles and we like to get in and out. I mean, I've seen some homes, I've toured homes on my motorcycle, but I don't do it very often because you just don't know what the roads are going to look like. And you may not have a smooth path to get where you need to go. So you might, if I'm showing you a home, you might not see me on my bike. You just might not. But that being said, I am, like I said, I'm boots on the ground. I do the walkthroughs. If you are local and you are reaching out to me, I'm going to highly encourage you, drive that neighborhood first. See if it's even where you want to be, because pictures don't do it justice. And if you don't have somebody advocating for you and they're at the property while you're away, you're not going to know what you're getting into. Okay. I give honest feedback.
I can add to that, one of the funniest conversations, because, we didn't know where to go either, right? School district was important to us. But my realtor said, you have to go drive the neighborhood. And I'm like, well, why is that? Well, because you don't know where a cemetery is in the front yard. Maybe what trucks are in the front yard. And that could just be around
Yes,
the
ma'am.
corner. So it's a, in
Oh, yeah.
Tennessee, it's important. There's some little nuances that you can run
Yeah.
into very quickly. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's, they need
So,
to work
yeah,
with you.
they need
Absolutely.
to. I would say you need to work with me, right? I would say you need to work with me. I just do my due diligence. I get out there. I will not, even if you're out of state client, just because it's sight unseen for you, I'm going to make it so that you can see as much as possible. And I would never allow you to even buy a home that I didn't go see. So that's important. And I'll always give you the honest feedback for that property. And not to kill your dreams, but to say, hey, this is what I'm walking up to. This is how I'm driving into the neighborhood. Do you see what I'm saying? Kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah. I love that those tools are, available to us.
Yes.
And Iesha, from a realtor's perspective, what do you enjoy most about working with VA buyers in the VA loan program?
Oh my gosh. For me, I like to bridge the gap because now I've been in the military life, right? Relocating, doing all that stuff. I know what it's like to have to relocate and do it often. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And have to start over and then you go to a place where you start over and no one, right? For me, I've moved so much that to me it's not a fear to do that. It's almost like a superpower. I'm like, I don't know anybody hate, but guess what? By the end of the week, I'm going to know more people than I can just count on my hands. You know what I mean? I'm just going to lean into it. And so when I help people in VA, it is to bridge when you are in or when you are getting out. I want to be that person that bridged the gap between coming into being a civilian again and what it looks like, getting involved in your community, what it looks like for the veteran community, how to get plugged in, all of that, because you don't leave from camaraderie and then go somewhere where you just don't have anybody. It's not a good feeling. So that is why I enjoy working with VA clients. I lived it. I lived it. Yeah.
And it's wonderful to have somebody with that level of experience and know that you have their back, when they may be 3,000 miles away. And Iesha, what areas around Knoxville are most popular for relocating families? Because if we do have someone coming in, are they always kind of at the base in Alcoa?
No. So you have some really cool areas like Farragut. Farragut is it's a growing community, but it still feels very like home and family connected, right? And then you have like Hardin Valley. Hardin Valley is a growing area too. Back to Farragut though, when you're talking about the schools and things like that, they have some of the top schools. They have some of the top schools here in the state. So, and then I said Hardin Valley, you have Maryville too, near the Smoky Mountains. Like if you want those mountains, Maryville is a really, really beautiful place to live too. The backdrops, you have Halls and you have Powell. I live close to Halls and Powell. I'm over down here because I wanted to be in the sticks. But still live and see, this is where it comes with thinking about your location. So I know I wanted to get to Knoxville and I didn't want to struggle to get to Knoxville. I am here in the sticks, but I am like a few turns out and I am in Knoxville in 30 minutes. So awesome. That was important to me. So I found a property that met all of those criteria, right? And the last one is Oak Ridge. Right? Not the last one, but Oak Ridge. When we first got here, we moved to Oak Ridge, right? Before we found our place over here. Oak Ridge is this community. It's a strong community. It's where a lot of employment is. And it's almost like it's its own world. That's the best way I can explain Oak Ridge. It's its own world. It's where the National Laboratory is as well. It employs so many people. It works very closely with UT. hiring their students and bringing their students on for interns and things like that. But it employs a lot of people, Oak Ridge does. So
And
those are some really key places.
Iesha, you mentioned the National Laboratory.
Mhm.
With somebody like myself moving in, I didn't really appreciate what that meant. So Oak Ridge made the very first atomic bomb that was dropped in
I
Japan.
know. Can we say that word on camera?
Well,
right,
if they're listening,
right?
they're like, what's so spectacular about Oak Ridge? And you don't ever want to. Now, this didn't happen to me, but you don't ever want to drive into one of those facilities because you're lost. You get to the gatehouse. You will get out of your car. You will show them your ID with kids in tow. We're just trying to find baseball fields. Oh, we took the wrong turn. It's highly secured, right?
Be very apologetic when you take that wrong turn. Just,
Yeah, so that a little bit of a nuance with Oak Ridge, and to see the housing that was built there all those years ago.
I was just going to say that.
It is pretty spectacular. Well, I'm sorry.
Yeah, the Alphabet Homes. They call them the Alphabet Homes because it's where all the engineers used to live. All the people that worked on the facility used to live, and the neighborhood is super cute. And we lived in one of the Alphabet Homes when we first moved to Oak Ridge, and it is. I don't know. It's just like a throwback in time, but it's modernized. And I don't know. They're just little bitty houses placed about. And I'm just like, I'm touching a piece of history every time I touch the doorknob, So awesome. I thought it was pretty special. Lots of history here.
There is. And, we've talked about so much, but, what, in your opinion, because, you've relocated from Southern California, which is so dramatically different from East Tennessee.
Well, we came by way of Texas.
Through Texas.
We came by way of Texas. So we slowed down a little bit. And then we...
But, what does, in your opinion, make Knoxville such a great place for military families?
Knoxville is, I don't even know, Tennessee, Knoxville. We are the volunteer state. Do you know why we're the volunteer state? Because we were the ones to go over to Texas and help out when there was turmoil and things going on in that area. And so Texas and Tennessee, we have a special relationship with one another, right? So there's the history there. You also have outdoor living. If you're looking for moving to Knoxville or Tennessee in general, you're looking for a lifestyle change. You're looking to go kayaking. You're looking for the hikes. You're looking for outdoor living, right? And you have that. Like where I live 10 minutes up from Norris Lake, right? Norris Lake is one of the cleanest, clearest lakes. Like they almost say you can't go fishing there because the fish will see you coming, right? So it's super cute. It's super beautiful. It's tucked away. There's so many veins to it, but you can live here and experience all of those things. You can go to the city. You can go out into the town. You can listen to live music, which I absolutely love. So I'm just really blessed by what I get to do here. The freedoms that I get to have here as well. So for veteran families, since there is a big veteran community here, you're not going to feel out of place. You're not going to feel lost. There is lots of, what I'll say is there's lots of pride here. There's lots of pride here for our service members, our law enforcement, and all of those first responders that come here. You'll have no shortage of a group or a tribe of people that you're connected to here.
Okay. Well, Iesha, like the last question I have for you here, and I so appreciate the conversation today, just full of great information and and just really truly represents what type of person you really are. But we talked about what the first step is. They have to just contact you.
They do. They do.
And what I'm going to put up on the screen, because they can watch this video, they can listen to it. As soon as I can find it, I'm going to put up your contact information.
Yes, thank you.
Well, where did it go? Okay.
And if I can just
Oh,
say too, the military family community is very close to my heart. It is. I am not just a veteran spouse and a military brat. I have 3 service member sons, and I know what it's like to be that mom on that side, that spouse on that side. I've
mhm.
gotten the call 4 times. I've gotten that call, that rushed call. Hey, mom, here's my address. Blah blah blah. 4 times in my life, and I'd like to come along any spouse that is in need of support in that area. Any
I love
mom that has service member children, I am here.
Yeah. And Iesha, I'd like to share if it's okay. I do
Yes.
have finally found it up on the screen. Needed to scroll up.
Oh, that's beautiful.
You can reach Iesha at area code 865-437-9600 or Iesha Padilla. If yeah. Okay. I've been talking too much. Iesha Padilla Realtor at gmail.com. Send her an email. But we'll have it on the screen so you can hop on the YouTube channel and you can see it. But even if you're not just looking to relocate, but here locally and looking for a realtor, give Iesha a call. She will absolutely take fabulous care of you because she's experienced all of it herself with her and her family,
Yes.
relocating several times. And then what is it like to get into a new community and make sure that you're looking in the right way. Like it's more about community first, then the home and the
Yes.
commute. And what other, for me, I like another example is I got to be 30 minutes to the airport. No more, running through that airport, almost missing a flight. Thank God I don't have to do
Yeah.
that anymore. But Iesha will absolutely take very good care of you. And for everybody listening or watching today, we want to thank you very much and have a wonderful day.
Thank you.